Okay, hello Cloud Gurus and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture we're going to discuss Direct Connect and we're just going to look at it at a very basic level because this is just for the associate course. Again, we go into a lot more detail on Direct Connect in the professional course. Okay, so what is Direct Connect? Well, Direct Connect makes it easy to establish a dedicated network connection from your premises to AWS. So that's all it is. It's a dedicated line from your premises to AWS. Using AWS Direct Connect, you can establish private connectivity between AWS and your data center, your office, or co-location environment, which in many cases can reduce your network costs, increase your bandwidth throughput, and provide a more consistent network experience than using internet-based connections. So the main benefits for Direct Connect are it's going to reduce your costs when using large volumes of traffic, it's going to increase your reliability, and it's going to increase the amount of bandwidth that you can use to communicate to AWS. So one of the questions or one of the scenarios might come up. It's important to understand the difference between Direct Connect and using a VPN. VPN connections can be configured in minutes, and they're a good solution if you had an immediate need. You have low to modest bandwidth requirements, and you can tolerate the inherent variability of internet-based connections. So you can tolerate if a VPN connection drops out, for example. AWS Direct Connect does not involve the internet. Instead, it uses a dedicated private network connection between your intranet and the Amazon VPC. Okay, so to help you visualize this, here's a network diagram. So you've got your customer headquarters off to the left. Now you would run a dedicated line from your customer headquarters to a Direct Connect facility. And this dedicated line just might be a 100 meg line or a gig line. This would be a circuit that would be provided to you by a telco. It's important to understand that this is not Direct Connect itself. It's just a dedicated communications line, comms line provided to you by a telco from your headquarters into a Direct Connect facility. Then inside a Direct Connect facility, you've got either a private rack or a cage, depending on how big your environment is. And essentially, there's a comms line or a router that terminates your circuit, and then you're doing a cross connect from that router into the AWS environment, which again would be in a different private rack or cage. And Amazon will do that cross connect for you. Then what happens is you're connecting into the Amazon data center using Amazon's dark fiber, using their Direct Connect connection from that Direct Connect facility into their data centers. So I'll give you a perfect example of this. In London, there is a Direct Connect facility. It's in the center of town, in the center of London. And what people will do is they'll run comms lines to that Direct Connect facility. Then they do a cross connect from where those comms lines terminate into the AWS infrastructure, and then AWS themselves run a Direct Connect connection from that data center or that Direct Connect facility all the way up into Ireland. Direct Connect is simply the connection between a Direct Connect facility and the AWS data center. So let's talk about the actual connections. You can get them in 10 gigabit per second, 1 gigabit per second, and you can get it below 1 gigabit, and that can be purchased through AWS Direct Connect partners, and it uses Ethernet VLAN trunking 802.1q. So going into the exam, it's just important to remember that if you don't want your traffic to traverse the internet, if you want increased reliability, lower costs, etc., then you might want to use Direct Connect. The one thing you do have to bear in mind, though, is that if you've got an immediate need to have a connection between your corporate headquarters and and Amazon, you need that to be encrypted, for example, you probably want to use a VPN because you can set that up in a couple of minutes. If you're using Direct Connect, it can take you anywhere from a month to 3, 4, 5 months, depending, to get that set up. It really depends on on the different lead times and who you're purchasing your Direct Connect connection from, whether or not you're purchasing them from Amazon or from a partner. But it can take a lot longer to get a Direct Connect connection in place. So just remember, if you don't want your traffic to traverse the normal internet, you want to put in a Direct Connect connection. If you need to encrypt your traffic between your corporate HQ and Amazon, person and you need to get that that connection in fast, then you might want to use a site-to-site VPN. Okay, that's it, guys. That's all you need to know about Direct Connect. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, feel free to move on to the next lecture. Thank you.